How's it going, guys? We're out here basically setting up. There's nothing here, not even the mini bikes. There's one thing I have to do, one piece of maintenance I have to do before I set this place up as a shop, only because after I set up I'm not going to be able to move my car, and that is to change this. This is, I don't know if you guys remember that second compressor, the one I got from the other guy a while back. The limit switch was sticking and it wouldn't turn the compressor off and the blow-off valve would come on. We lubricated it with that super slick slot car oil. It worked forever. Painted the car, not a problem. After we built the other compressor, I had that compressor down here. I fully serviced it, everything worked mint. After I put it back up there, it started to act up again. I tried to lube it, it worked for a little bit and stopped. So I'm done with that game. I had bought this a little while back actually, and it's basically just a regulator. Don't worry like that. It's a limit switch regulator. Turns it on and off. You set it to whatever. The problem is getting up there, and that's what I'm going to do. So I have to get that done, and then we could set up and do that training. So, well, let's get working. Okay, we're up here. What we have to change is behind here. So the plastic's got to come off. And let's do it up. Okay, there it is. Basically, there's the on and off switch. Okay, when you hit pressure, this little tab comes up, releases the head pressure. So when this baby restarts, it's all good to go. As we discussed in the last video, this line has no air in it whatsoever because it comes through here and bleeds off, and there's a check valve in there. If you remember when we assembled this bad boy, the original check valve was bad. It worked, but it was knocking. And I'll bet any amount of money on it, that's why they sold it. They thought the pump was knocking, like I did when I fired it up with my own stuff. So, with that said, only difference is it's on and off lever. The one I bought comes straight up, this one curves. So I have to determine right now if I want to do surgery on this thing and take the lever off because it only goes right to here and sits under this. Or I don't use these anyway, but you know how that goes. Yeah, okay guys, there it is. What was different? What was different between this one and this one? First of all, this one had screws and lugs sticking off it to clip the wires on. So that one just had the screws but the same kind of knurled base, so I put the little lugs on. What was different? This one was a male, that one was a female, so I had to get a short nipple to put it in there. And this on and off is definitely different, which I knew. I knew that when I bought it because I couldn't find this one anymore. Everything else is identical. So this one actually has two different adjustments on it. They both have the same adjustment here, which regulates when it turns on and off, but in a parallel form, if you know what I mean. So if you adjust it for, I'll just pick a number, 80 or 80 on, it turns off at 100. If you make this 90 on, and this one turns off at 110. Okay, this one has an empty hole right there. This one has a secondary plug for one more final adjustment of, I forgot. So, and you can see a little white nipple-y thing sticking down there. So basically, I was going to take it apart. I figure what failed on this one is there's a diaphragm in here. I figured the diaphragm's bad. I was going to take this apart. I was going to use this base and this arm because the arm just slips right through and does its deal. Everything else is identical. Then I thought about it and looked at it. And I saw that there's a lot of floating plates and springs in here, and I was like, why? I haven't turned this one on by that lever in 20 years. So, with that said, we're leaving it like that. I don't care. Can I lengthen it? Sure. I was actually going to bend up another one and weld it on there. I actually have the piece of rod sitting down there. And I was like, why bother? So, with that said, we have to get in the blow-off valve in the outlet and tune it. I have it set very low. Okay, that's at 100. So basically what you do is you increase the spring pressure here. So I'm going to go half, one turn. Then I'm going to bleed it down on the bottom. I keep my compressors at 120, that's it. It's easier on the machine. That's 110. Close, 109 on both of them. So I'm gonna go half, one whole turn again. And I like to see it come on at 90. It's 120 on the nose, on the shut off. Let's air it down a little. Like I said, I keep mine around 90, 120. That's it. I don't see why I need any more pressure than that ever. Saves your equipment. So 95. And that 92. 90. At 89. Taking so long. Wonder what the hissing sound was. That's 120 on the nose. I'm gonna go right there. That's a big hole. We're good. So that should be what the other one is, give or take a couple of pounds. I used to have these things timed exact. Those anal days are over. It's amazing, 2 going, and it's half the volume of one of those buzzing ones. Oh, we got them within 5 seconds of each other. That's close enough for me, and I don't hear any hissing. That's a better bonus. We hear any hissing? Nothing major, at least. Okay, guys, let's call it good. Let's clean everything up and put all this junk where it belongs. Maybe we'll throw more shit out.